Am I the a-hole for my comment to my girlfriend's sister regarding her accomplishments? So I'm 26 male, usually I'm a very quiet and respectful person. But I don't deal with my girlfriend Kelly's 26 female sister Alexa 27 female at all. I think she's a crappy person, entitled and just not my cup of tea. Alexa was dating my friend Drew when me and Kelly met. Drew was the one who actually helped me get with Kelly in the first place, so I owe the guy a lot. Drew and Alexa were living together and he was supporting her career. She was in law school and he worked full-time. I didn't find this out till after, but he took out the loans for her to go, along with using his salary to pay their housing and paying for her classes. He was really proud of her budding career. Well, about a year ago, Alexa graduated from law school and within a week, broke up with Drew. Drew was heartbroken, and I was the one who found out most of the dirt about the finances. Alexa used him for 3 years for free school and dumps him a week after she graduates. This caused shockwaves in the family. Her parents were furious and Kelly wasn't a fan of her sister for months, but eventually everyone forgave her and acted like Drew never existed. It pissed me off bad, and I haven't said a word to her sister since. I won't address her whenever I'm forced to be around her. Alexa passed the bar and landed a job, so her parents threw her a celebration. I was asked to attend by Kelly. I refused, kept refusing, but eventually she broke down and said she needed me there. So we went, and I talked to the members of her family alike, mostly my girlfriend's dad. So Alexa got up to give a speech to thank people. So as she was in the middle of thanking different people for the help they gave her, I said, "Don't forget to include Drew," loud enough the whole room heard it. It got really quiet, then her dad cracked up and her mom tried to advance the speech. My girlfriend dragged me outside and tried yelling at me, followed by her mom. The conversation wasn't going well, so I called an Uber and left. My girlfriend is demanding I apologize. I told her I'd apologize when Alexa starts paying Drew back for the debts he is in now. And until then, I wouldn't say a kind word to her sister. And I plan on telling every single guy Alexa dates the story about what she did to Drew. Because as a guy, I'd like to know that info. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I feel not the a-hole, but you, sir, are the brother and friend everyone needs in life. Tell Drew to take his ex to court. Might be able to get some of the money back. Drew made a decision to take out those loans. That's on him. It would at least smear her name with other attorneys. Drew should sue. Not the a-hole, but it really wasn't your place to do it at a party. But dang, kudos to you for that great line. You know, secretly everyone must have loved it except Alexa. For your own benefit, remember that your girlfriend didn't choose to have Alexa as her sister, but family's family and she's got to live with it. Honestly, I can't believe the parents threw her a party. What she did was so blatantly scummy. Me neither. I called it trashy to my girlfriend and her mom during the fight. Like, why would you celebrate this person? Prestige apparently trumps teaching your kid to be a decent person. Not stay home. Look closely at your girlfriend if she thinks this kind of behavior is okay. Starting to. Her being this supportive of her sister is a huge red flag to me. Next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not allowing my girlfriend's sister to move in and changing the locks?" So, a really messy situation. I, 27 male, have been dating my girlfriend Ashton, 26 female, for 2 years and we live in the house that I own. Ashton's finishing up her master's program, so I don't charge her rent. I pay for all the housing expenses, and in return she chips in on groceries, utilities, and some of the household chores. But I pay the lion's share of all household expenses. I'm cool with the situation till she graduates, and we have always communicated well. Until now. So Ashton has a hot and massive sister named Anna, 28 female. Anna's burned most of her bridges with her family. She has 2 kids by 2 different dads, been married and divorced twice, hops from one sketchy boyfriend to another, always in and out of work, and always complaining about her situation instead of actually doing anything to solve it. I gave up on her last year when she dated this loser who obviously didn't like kids, but she kept dating him against me and her sister's advice. Well, she moved into his place, and this Saturday we got a call that they were breaking up and she had nowhere to go this time. She hadn't been working and didn't have rent money. Ashton asked me if we could take them in. I said absolutely not. Her sister was a leech. Also, that I didn't want kids in my house. I work from home half the time and don't want 3 extra people in my space. Also, I don't want to get involved with her sister at all. I've supported her plenty over the last few years, rides, babysitting, etc., and I'm done. My girlfriend didn't take this well and said she would help her sister if she could. I said fine, let me know where you take her and I'll bring by some food, but it won't be my house. My girlfriend tried saying it was her house too, but I said when she started paying the mortgage, she can decide who lives here. So her sister tried calling me individually and I told her the same reasons and told her I'd bring food by when she finds a place. I also gave her the number of multiple organizations that could help her. She got offended. Well, I was at work yesterday, sales, and I noticed on my Ring camera Anna/her kids unlocking my front door with a bag on her shoulder. I called my girlfriend and asked her immediately what was going on. She said Anna needed a place to go for a few hours while her ex moved out of the apartment. I asked how she got in the house as I locked it. Ashton said she made Anna a key months ago in case she ever needed to get in. I was furious and told her to tell Anna to get out or I'll be calling the police. Ashton called and Anna left, but not before calling me an a-hole. So I decided today to change the locks and get a new garage access code. Ashton will have to request through the garage and I will give access. Ashton is upset, but I told her that this is gonna be the way it is until her sister finds a place. Because I can't trust I won't come home and find 2 kids and a woman living in my house. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, and in my opinion, you need to think seriously about your relationship with Ashton. The fact that she went behind your back is a major red flag. I wouldn't make any rash decisions, but she's violated his trust in a big way here. Forgiving this once or twice is possible, but beyond that, it's game over. I don't think I could forgive the copying of my key without my knowledge or permission. Not the a-hole, but I think you need to reevaluate if you can trust Ashton. She way overstepped boundaries by making her sister a key without your permission. Yep, when my boyfriend had a roommate, he consulted him about getting me a key to the apartment if I wanted to get in when they weren't home. His roommate said he'd rather I didn't have a key, but didn't mind if I was already there when they left. That was respected because it was a shared living space. Not stay home. If she wasn't working when she lived with a boyfriend, what's going to make her work when she lives in your house? Exactly the point I made. Anna has a job currently, but I don't think she manages her money well. Your girlfriend is the bigger issue, I'm afraid. Despite your very clear hell no, she still tried to get the sister into her place. She clearly doesn't care that you are opposed to this. She's gonna keep trying. You may need to lose the girlfriend if you can't get her to stop enabling the sister. But do you really want to deal with that crap forever? Time to sit down and make it clear. Stop enabling sister or leave. Next story. Am I the a-hole for likely making my mother lose custody of my siblings? In 2018, my mother got married to the man she was cheating on my dad with for years. This already put a serious dent in the relationship I had with her. I moved out shortly after my stepdad moved in since he thought he suddenly owned everything in the house, including my work computer, PlayStation 4, etc. A few months after moving out, my brother, 18, called me in the middle of the night because our stepdad threw him out for stealing money and catching him in possession of hard drugs, all of which were and still are lies. I already had minimal contact with my mother by that point, and the day my brother moved in with me, I was met with a barrage of texts and calls of my stepdad that I had to bring my brother back with the money or else he'd come get him. I told him to shove it and try me. Fast forward until last year, they divorced because, surprise, he stole the money. He was also an alcoholic and an addict, and admitted to planting the substances in my brother's room. After the divorce and getting a restraining order, he started harassing neighbors. Showed up in the garden in the middle of the night to look inside their windows. Showed up at my sister's school. She's 12 at a time. She's still in therapy over this. It was also discovered that he's blacklisted in every bank in the country from starting loans because of massive debt. The relationship with our mother started healing a bit after this. Through our younger brother, we found out she wasn't home for 3 days straight. So my 18-year-old brother called her, and after some beating around a bush, She tells him he's with our ex-stepdad again. My brother hangs up and texts me this. After subduing my rage, I ask my 16-year-old brother and younger sister, now 14, if they still want to live there. They both say no, and I tell my father. About a week later, she served legal documents that state my father is trying to get full custody of my siblings because of my mother's actions. And according to her own lawyer, there's a high chance she'll lose them. She calls me in panic, and I tell her it's her own fault. She starts crying and screaming that I should be happy that she finally found true love. I ask her if it's worth it to lose all of her children over this, and she responds with insults towards me, my brothers, and my now fiancé. I tell her to never contact me again and hang up. I haven't heard from her since, but I've heard from other people that she's heartbroken that she's about to lose her children. But she's also blaming us and telling everyone that her kids don't want her to be happy and are always on their dad's side. Now, I'm not asking whether or not I'm the a-hole for cutting her out of my life. I'm fairly convinced it's the best thing for me personally. But I think I might have gone a little too far in giving my father more ammo, on top of what he already had, to take my siblings from my mother. I think it's the best for them. I just want to look out for them. So am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's great that your younger siblings have someone looking out for them. I couldn't add the following information because of the character limit, but my father also looks out for us a great deal. He isn't trying to just get custody to stick it to my mother. He just can't do much without it going through legal channels, because my mother screwed him over pretty bad during the divorce with lies and things that never happened. Well, your mom is now learning that the truth hurts. You've done nothing wrong. Children need to be protected, and you don't leave them at home alone to fend for themselves. Your sister is still in therapy after what happened when she was 12, and your mom disappears for 3 days to spend it with her abuser? OP, thank you for protecting your younger siblings. They need to get out of there. OP, I saved orphans from a burning building, but the arsonist is upset I spoiled her fun. Am I the a-hole? Just in case I end up at the top, not the a-hole. That actually gave me a good laugh. Thank you. When you put it like that, yeah, screw the arsonist. Sarcasm finally saves the day. I do know the world is messier, and until your father wins, this might get worse. But that doesn't mean you're not doing the right thing. Not to mention, there might be reasons your father didn't have any custody in the first place. Sorry though it might be, please help to make sure this isn't jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Go you. As far as I'm aware, the reasons why my mother got custody is because of a traffic misdemeanor that her lawyers used to label him as a criminal, and some other things that were blatant lies. But she was somehow able to convince the court that these claims were true. Our father let me look at all the legal documents of the divorce during the proceedings, because he thought he owed his children full transparency. I haven't caught him in a single lie on anything. He always tells how it is. He looks like the typical biker dude, tall, burly, tattoos, but he's an absolute sweetheart that always looks out for his children. He has always taken us before anything else. He even sold his motorcycles for my brother to be able to pay for college as a gift. There's not a single bad bone in his body. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that if her sister and brother-in-law need a place to stay, they can live in a camper? My wife and I have been married for 4 years and live on a hobby farm I purchased before we started dating. We have just under 15 acres of land, grow our own food, and have some chickens, goats, and pigs. I've also spent a lot of time and money updating and renovating the house, quite a bit of which my wife has helped with over the years. One of the upgrades we did was to redo the guest bedroom and bathroom. It's quite nice. Now, my sister-in-law and her husband recently fell in hard times. From what I've heard, it was about 50% bad luck and 50% bad decisions on her husband's part. As a result, they and their 3 kids are currently living in a motel. My wife brought up the idea of having them come stay with us until they get on their feet, but I haven't been too enthusiastic about the idea. Her idea is to have sister-in-law and husband take the guest room, and the kids can sleep on the couches/cots in the living room. We don't have a 3rd bedroom for the kids. Now, I've always been child-free by choice, just never wanted them. I don't hate them, but also don't necessarily want to live with 3 of them either, especially if it's an open-ended living situation. My counter was to allow them to live in my old pop-up camper I have on the property. It's about 10 years old, but it's in great shape as I store it inside. It has enough sleeping space for all of them. A shower and toilet, mini fridge, AC, and heat. In my opinion, it's a pretty sweet camper. Also, and this is a little selfish of me, but I feel it would give them their own space while giving them a place to stay. But it would also maybe be just uncomfortable enough for them to not want to permanently stay, and to give them motivation to find a better option. I also told her that if they stay with us, I would expect them to help out with some chores, even the older kids who are 12 and 14. My wife hates that idea, and can't believe I would force her family to stay outside in the elements, and put them to work when we spent all the time and money to redo the spare bedroom. I told her that unless sister-in-law can give me a concrete move-out date, I don't want them and their kids living in our house indefinitely. She told me that they don't know the first thing about camping or farm work, and they need to focus on getting their lives straight and not worry about anything else. I told her that these are the conditions under which I am comfortable with them staying with us, and I'm not budging. She told me I am being a jerk and unreasonable and that she never expected this kind of behavior from me. The way I feel is that we are doing them a favor, and if we let them stay in the house, the temptation for them to get too comfortable is a lot greater than if they stay in the camper. I understand this could be seen as even a downgrade from living in a motel, but beggars can't be choosers. Not stay home. Open-ended guest situations almost never work out well. Even a newly and nicely renovated guest room is for guests that will be there for a defined time. A living room is a fun place for kids to crash for a visitor sleepover, not for an open-ended living situation. The camper seems like exactly the kind of compromise that anyone should be happy with. It is a lot of stress and really uncomfortable when you have to finally ask them to leave too. It tends to burn bridges. I am totally on the same page as you about the nice newly renovated guest room. In my family, we joke that we like to make the guest rooms comfortable, but not too comfortable so guests leave. Not stay home. It's a very nice offer, and they aren't in the elements. Beggars choosers, blah blah. Honestly, if I had to stay at someone else's home for an indeterminate amount of time, I'd love to have a camper van. It's nice not having to be at attention all the time with your host, and to have your own space where you don't feel like you're bothering them. Not having to share facilities for everything is much better.